What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 77 of the Anthony John Amick podcast. And today I want to open up and share some pages directly from my journal with you because I was just given a download with you the other day. And I just want to share it with you. You know, it's been said that in this game of life, it's not about the pursuit of happiness, it's about the happiness of pursuit. And if you're anything like me, maybe you're like, well, how does one actually enjoy the journey? And that's a really good question. So if you're at a place in life where you're putting in the work to create the life and business that you desire and you're feeling tired and you're wondering man, how can you actually enjoy the journey? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amick podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amick. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Now, before I pull back the pages from a journal and just share the lessons that have radically shifted my perspective earlier this week, I want to let you know I'm looking for my next 5 partners to personally rewire and transform their entire way of being in less than 90 days so they can escape the internal pressure that keeps them frustrated, unfulfilled, and burnt out, have unshakable clarity, confidence, and certainty, lead their industry, market, team, and clients with driven inspiration, unwavering conviction, and power, and become the preeminent authority in their niche who are profitably pushing the world forward with their product and service. And maybe that's you. And if so, my team is looking for reputable personal brands to partner with so that we can help them make the internal shift required to evolve into a market leader, a trusted authority, and domain experts in their niche. And to learn more about that and get access to incredible training called the Transformation Triad, how personal brand leaders unleash their inner 7-figure entrepreneur and transform their business, industry, and life in less than 90 days, simply head on over to trainingwithaj.com. There's no opt-in there. That's not required. Just simply go to trainingwithaj.com to get access to the training, and you'll also learn what it takes to rewire and transform your entire way of being in less than 90 days. That way you can take your life and business to a whole new level. So with that being said, let's pull back the pages of my journal for you so you can learn how to experience more joy in your day-to-day life. On Tuesday this week, I asked a question during my daily dialogue. Now, if you don't know about my journaling process that I call Daily Dialogue, make sure you go check out episode 54 called Journaling for Mental Health, How to Start Journaling and Changing Your Life Immediately. In that episode, I dive deep into journaling. Now, recently, I've entered a very, very busy season of my life. And I keep hearing these stories about how this whole global quarantine thing is giving people more time to explore their passions and their hobbies and things of that nature. And I'm man, I don't know about you, but man, for me during this quarantine, I feel like I've just been blowing and going. I haven't slowed down one bit. In fact, I feel like my world and my life has actually sped up. Prior to COVID, my wife and I, we had this nanny helping us. And by the end of March, my wife lost one of her streams of income. And so we decided to let the nanny go, let go of our office space, and then just spend our days taking care of our daughter together and ebbing and flowing our work schedules around one another. And it's been amazing for my wife. And honestly, it's been really good for me as well. Yet it's brought on this new set of challenges for me. One where I have to be very diligent and very focused with my time. And during this quarantine so far, I feel like I've done a lot. I've launched a brand new course called Project Shift, which is arguably one of the best personal development programs available for those who have a personal brand. We've had nearly 40 people already go through that program. The results have been mind-blowing. I've launched a new group coaching program. I have made a deal with a publisher to publish my first book. It should be out by October. I have designed and created custom journals and welcome packages for our new students. I've hired an incredible team member to help me with my podcast and social media. I'm really, really darn close to closing on a new home. We should have that done by the end of the week or so. And all of those things on top of still coaching my amazing clients, producing 2 podcast episodes a week, consulting for a couple of companies, and taking care of my daughter and up-leveling my marriage and my body. And it's been a really, really productive 6 months for me. And I kept thinking after the launch of Project Shift, then things will slow down. And they didn't. And then I thought after I hire a new team member, then things are going to slow down. They didn't. And then I told myself, and maybe you've told yourself something like this in the past, oh, well, this is just a season. Like after the season, then things will slow down. And they didn't. And it's just like my world just kept speeding up, speeding up, speeding up. Maybe you can relate. And so on Tuesday, I settled into accepting that my world may never slow down ever again. And I'm super excited, and I'm really clear on like what I'm creating inside my business and what I'm like really creating, like moving forward. And it's like really, really pumping up. And I know my daughter is going to continue to get older and grow and be involved in more and more things. So rather than trying to resist the inevitable, I may as well just kind of get curious about like, how can I increase my capacity to be able to handle the speed in which my wife and I experience this game of life? So I took this challenge and my feelings into my daily dialogue process on Tuesday morning, and I asked God, how can I create more joy in the midst of my doing of the things that I'm committed to? And immediately I just started writing down the first thoughts and feelings that came to me, and the words just started to flow out of me. And I wrote down, I have a conditioned grittiness about me that plays the game to win, rather than simply playing the game to play and have fun. Now, this was a really, really big insight for me. And I think most high achievers, they play the game this way as well. And maybe you can relate to this, like playing the game to win. So then I continued to write, and I said, it reminds me of that year I took off from playing soccer outside of high school. I took a break, and then I came back to play a scrimmage with the team, and I was just like killing it in practice. And like when I wrote that down, this was something I'd never really thought about, but I remember that one practice, that one scrimmage, like so vividly as I was writing it down. Like during that scrimmage, my ball control was stellar. I was dribbling past people like they were clowns. I was scoring goals like a machine. It was just like I was in this pure flow state. That scrimmage felt so good, so right. My soul was so happy to be back playing the game that I loved. And the crazy thing is I was just playing the game to have fun. Like, of course, like I wanted to win. It was a scrimmage, and the team that I was on, like I wanted us to win. But I was just playing. Like it was a scrimmage, and I was killing people, and I was having a blast in the process. And I remember there was this one dude that I didn't know, and his name was Felix. And he was kind of like a punk kid, really. Like he had this attitude. He thought he was this badass, and he was honestly just kind of a douchey, rough around the edges type of dude, Like he was like pretty good at soccer. Like he was a pretty good player. He was the captain of the team, and he just kind of had this arrogance about him, and he certainly had this like loud mouth that got him into trouble. And you know what I mean? Like you probably grew up with those kinds of people as well. And I remember like feeling that vibe from that dude. And I remember hearing his loud mouth. But like midway, like through the scrimmage, I had his respect because like my talent was undeniable. The results I was like putting down were just like, you can't argue. Like it was good. I was just like killing it on offense. I was killing it on defense. I was playing in midfield, creating plays. I was maintaining control. I was fast. My body felt strong. My lung capacity was stellar. I wasn't out of breath. I was on fire. And I gained Felix's respect that day. And we were like team homies by the end of that scrimmage. And then after that scrimmage, I decided to join the team. And a few weeks later, like we went out and we had our first game together. And I'll never forget that game, like looking back, because I sucked. Like in the game, I wasn't killing it. Like I knew I had the chops. I had demonstrated I had the chops. I had the skills, but I was terrible in that game. Like I wasn't making plays. The other team was stealing the ball from me a lot. My passes were like going to where I thought people should be and not to my team. Like they were being intercepted. And it was just overall, it was terrible. It was a mess. And I remember like Felix coming up to me and saying something like, dude, what happened to you? Like, where are you at? Like he was angry. He was upset. He was frustrated. He had every right to be. And it's crazy to me that this memory like popped up in my daily dialogue. Yet I remember this, like that moment, like so clearly looking back. And looking back, like Felix was right. Like what did happen to me? How did I go from this, person just dominating in the scrimmage, like in flow, massively successful in the game of soccer, to now being in this game where I was just, I don't know where I was. Well, I'll tell you, game day came and I went back to my old ways of being. I was worried about being like a ball hog, somebody who didn't like pass the ball. I was worried about doing and playing the game perfectly. And I locked up like that part of me, that boy in me who loved to play the game for the sake of playing the game, into this internal closet because I felt it wasn't safe for that little boy, that little part of me, to play in the real game, because I had a belief system that the real game required seriousness, not playing. And now here I am at 35 years old and still playing the game of life and business at times the same way. Now, this was a huge revelation for me because I know in my cores of cores, like the vision I have for my life, the vision I have for my business, like I know without a shadow of a doubt that that vision is done. Like there is no doubt whatsoever. I know my vision, the thing I want to create, the gift I want to give in this lifetime, it is done. Like it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of time. So once I realized this and I asked God, I was like, yo man, well, now that I'm having awareness around like not being so serious, like how can I play more? Like how can I actually enjoy the journey? And he said, I'm just going to read directly from my journal for you. He said, plan, son. Plan, system, structure, and then executing on it. That's what you must do. Awareness is vital if one wants to play the game for the sake of the game while still moving towards a desire to win. It's vital, meaning awareness is vital. Let me explain. Awareness is the number one thing that allows you to align with the truth, and from that truth, you can course correct. You desire creating a thing, and you desire experiencing joy. Perfect. This is the truth. So now the question becomes, are you moving towards the end creation? If no, then you will not experience joy. If you are, then you get to choose experiencing joy in the knowing of that you are moving towards the end result and knowing that it is done. This is the paradox of experiencing joy in one's everyday life. Know this, my son, know this, and share this with others. And so here we are, me sharing this with you. Now, I hope this raw story, this vulnerability of my own personal struggles is helping you to see how you can experience more joy in your daily life. Like, I know this experience brought me a massive shift in perspective for me. And the cool thing about perspective shifts is they allow you to take new actions, which then create new realities. See, the old me had a deep ingrained belief system that playing the game isn't worth playing unless you win. And maybe you have a part of you that has a similar belief system. And I know for me, like growing up, like I was constantly told things like second place is the first loser. And after every game I played, and I played a lot of games, we never discussed what I did right. Even when we won, we only discussed what I could do better. And this led to a deep ingrained belief that playing the game is serious business. There's no playing like involved in any game whatsoever. Like playing the game is serious business. And now I'm realizing that there's this kid in me who just wants to play. And of course, I want to win my game. Like I want to hit the targets. I have a desire within me to hit the targets that I've set for myself. Yet I can also have fun along the way. So what's the lesson for you? What's the lesson for me? So the lesson for me, the lesson for you, if you're open to this, is this. Playing the game is not about playing the game to win. And playing the game is not about playing the game to simply not lose. Truly playing the game is about playing the game to simply play the game. For this is one of the gifts of the human experience, and it is where we experience freedom and joy and happiness in the process of our journeys here on earth. So my invitation to you this day is this. Where in your life, where in your business are you too focused on playing the game to win? And how much is that constant focus on winning actually robbing you of the real win, the joy in the midst of your creation? My friend, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope that this vulnerability, this story that I remembered and sharing here has served you. And if it inspired you in some way, I would love to hear about it. I'd love to know what is like your biggest takeaway from this. Simply take a screenshot of you listening on your device, post it over on your Instagram stories, and tag me at AJ Amix. And also, if you haven't left a review about this show over on iTunes, man, it would be absolutely stellar if you drop a rating and review. And you can do that by heading on over to ajamix.com/iTunes. And when you do leave a rating, you leave a review, I always go back, I look at those. Anytime there's a review, I read them here online or on the podcast and give you a shout out. So head on over to ajamix.com/iTunes. That takes you over to iTunes, and you can leave a rating and review. That would be amazing. So thank you so much for being here. Hope this served you. That's going to do it for this episode of the Anthony John Amix podcast. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amix podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.